press releases, they're telling you their side, but you just want the facts. And that's why you come to me. I give you the statistics without spin. Out of 116 million working age Nigerians, 35.5 million are employed full-time. That's 30%. I give you the context. I give you the history. I fight fake news with facts.
Kayode. No, Kayode, I will let you talk. Kayode, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Kayode.
That's why more and more Lagosians are tuning in. 500,000 Lagosians.
720,000.
970,000. Over 1 million Lagosians. They know that if you give me your afternoon, I will give you hard facts.
Well done, Sandra, all to going beyond the headlines and focus on the facts.
I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. First hard fact of the day: KPMG is predicting that this year the unemployment rate will rise to 40.6%. They believe that the economy will not grow fast enough to create jobs for the 4 to 5 million Nigerians joining the workforce. We got this from KPMG's Global Economy Outlook report for the first half of this year. Depressing stuff. 40.6%. That's a lot of people. 1 million Lagosians listen to this show. Yeah, they cannot be wrong. Thank you for tuning in today alongside them. I've got a great show for you, starting with the big three. Let's talk about IPMAN and PENGASSAN disagreeing over fuel subsidy. Then let's talk about the APC responding to Obi at the Tribunal. And then let's talk about PDP's Jandor asking the Tribunal to disqualify both APC's Sanwo-Olu and LP's GRV. At 4 o'clock, we will bring you yesterday's I Beg to Differ match. We'll replay it for you at 4 because we don't have our second I Beg to Differ quarterfinal. I Beg to Differ quarterfinal match will happen tomorrow. The one that was supposed to happen today will happen tomorrow at 3 p.m. So tomorrow we're not going to have a big three. Will have instead back-to-back matches, back-to-back debates. The first one at 3 will be between Ramadan and Fabian. The second one at 4 will be between Ruth Okorocha and Nicholas Musa Okoya. On today's big hard fact, let's talk about the current cash situation in Lagos and nationwide. It's been 2 weeks since NLC gave that ultimatum. How are things looking cash-wise now? Are things better? We'll also continue to talk about some of the things we'll talk about at 3 today because I know that the time is never enough to get through all the topics. As usual, we'll have news updates at the top of the hour every hour. But let's get started with today's big three. Lagos, I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts.
This is the Big Three.
The big three
on Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Will the next administration withstand the pressure not to let fuel subsidy end? Will the next administration withstand the pressure not to let fuel subsidy end? Is INEC properly addressing the issue of electronic transmission as opposed to coalition? How much will technicalities influence the outcome of election petitions? Those are our big three. Lagos, let's talk. IPMAN says the Buhari administration has not done enough to end fuel subsidy. That's our first story. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, they're responding to PENGASSAN's statement that they are okay with subsidy ending in June, even without domestic refineries coming online. IPMAN begs to differ. However, we heard from their national PRO, Chief Ukadike Chinedu, and he said, quote, IPMAN commends the administration of President Buhari for considering not to remove fuel subsidy before handing over on May 29, 2023. As the national PRO of IPMAN, we are in support of the fact that the current administration should not remove subsidy. This is because the factors that should necessitate the removal of subsidy have not been put in place by the outgoing administration. Our obsolete refineries should work, and our pipelines should be repaired in order to move petroleum products from riverine areas to dry lands. From there, marketers can be able to load products as quickly as possible to their filling stations without traveling long distances. These are the factors that will aid the smooth transition to a no subsidy regime, end quote. Now, of course, Lagos, this is it's a sentiment that we've heard many people express, even here on Hard Facts F. But here's the question. Will domestic production really reduce the cost of petrol? And by how much? Because without subsidy, the refineries will sell at market rate. Now, because it's domestic production, we will not have the shipping costs in the price anymore. But we'll still have the transport costs for moving the products from Warri, Kaduna, and Port Harcourt to the rest of the country. Same with Dangote Refinery in Lagos. And if the government decides to reduce the price from the state-owned refinery, then that's just subsidy by another name. That means government is still losing money. Now let's do some math. At full capacity, the Port Harcourt refinery can process 210,000 barrels per day. 210,000 barrels of oil per day at full capacity. The Warri refinery can process 125,000 barrels a day. Kaduna can do 110,000 a day. Combined, that's 445,000 barrels a day. 1 barrel of crude oil can produce 40 to 70 liters of petrol, depending on conditions conditions and quality of the refining process. So 40 to 70, let's just say 50 liters. Multiply that 455,000 by 50, that's 22 million liters of petrol a day. Does 22 million liters of petrol a day from the local refineries meet our domestic consumption? Because the official number for that is 60 million liters a day. So that's about 3 times the total capacity of the 3 state-owned refineries if they operate at maximum capacity all year round. Now, let's assume that some of that domestic consumption is actually being taken to neighboring countries to sell at higher prices. So maybe we bring that number from 60 million to maybe 45 or 50 million. It's still higher than what our refineries can meet per day. The Dangote refinery is supposed to process 650,000 barrels a day. That's about 32 million liters of petrol. But of course, Dangote is not selling to only Nigeria. He will not only sell to Nigeria. Most of that product will probably go straight to the Lekki port and out to the rest of the world for payment in dollars. So here's my question. Should refinery capacity really be the condition for lifting the fuel subsidy? I feel like that should be an I beg to differ topic. Should refinery capacity really be the condition for lifting the fuel subsidy? Or is this something that would be nice to have, but we simply cannot afford to wait until we get it? 0700-993-993-993 0700-993-993. That's for men. Women, call us on 01465-7190. We've got WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. And of course, we leave us your thoughts on Facebook. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Is there anywhere else? Yes, for those who are listening abroad, you can join the conversation via Skype. Skype is Nigeria Info FM 99.3. Hello. Sorry about that. Give us a call back if you can. 99.3. Hello. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Sandra. John from Ogba.
Talk to me, John from Ogba.
Sandra, there is no way without putting our refineries in order that we justify any importation or removal of subsidy.
Okay.
Before they start refining our crude overseas, people were refining it here. when the four refineries were functioning properly well. And we don't have the issues of subsidy. Everything was running on smoothly. What about the byproduct that is attached to crude oil? To the final, the crude oil has byproducts now, almost 32. Where are these ones? Where are the byproducts? Because the petrol is the final end product. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Then they are not, every activity of this NNPC, this oil is already in mystery. They are not telling us how much is being taken away every day as crude, how much is being imported every day as refined product, how much they are spending, the landing cost, and transportation, and the workforce over there. What are we talking about? We are not fools now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John from Ogba. Now, of course, our petrol consumption has kept growing in the last few decades. But, okay, John. 99.3, hello.
Yeah, President Sandra, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Chris, your senior special advisor.
Chris, welcome. Talk to me.
President Sandra, there is a place they call Ndokwa West. It's in Delta State. They have refinery. The station, the NNPC to them.
Chris, your connection is chopping up. Hello, Chris?
Hello, yeah.
Hello, Chris? All right. I don't know what's happening with Chris's calls these days. We've got WhatsApp too. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Hi, good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Talk to me, Ikechukwu.
Thank you for yesterday, and I enjoy your program. I will take on today by 5 to tell you about cash crops in this place. So back to the topic.
Okay.
I want to talk about Jandor. Respect to him. Is he saying that the court should strike out Labour Party, and is it only PDP that fight for governorship in Lagos? After 3 years now, you know, hear their voice again. Concerning subsidy issue, what I want to tell you is my own opinion. Anybody that wants to remove subsidy should first of all build and repair our refinery first. They should repair the refinery before talking about any removal of subsidy. So concerning APC and the P2B issue, well, INEC should tell us why they do not upload the presidential results according to the law, according to the law signed 26 February last year. Are you hearing me?
Okay.
Otherwise, anybody that is going to enter or the INEC have elected should first of all go to America before May 29. The president that want to rule Nigeria should go to America, yes, and give United Nations talk before he lost. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for calling. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How you doing? What's your name, ma'am?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Hope.
Hope, talk to me.
Sandra, please. What we just want, let them build our refinery. If I thought they want to do anything, we are not stopping them. We need this refinery. Doesn't mean that Nigeria do not have money to build refinery in Nigeria. What is going on, Sandra? Please write them, talk to them. I don't know how you will communicate with them. You say them to build refinery for Nigeria. We need it.
Okay.
God bless you.
Bless you as well. Lagos, if you just tuned in, IPMAN says that the Buhari administration has not done enough to end fuel subsidy. IPMAN is the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, and they were responding to PENGASSAN's statement that they are okay with subsidy ending in June. So PENGASSAN said, we were okay with subsidy ending in June, but IPMAN says, no, we're not okay with subsidy ending in June. And they said that the factors that should necessitate the removal of subsidy have not been put in place by Buhari's administration. Our refineries should be working, our pipelines should be repaired so that we can move petroleum products from riverine areas to dry lands. From there, marketers are able to load products as quickly as possible so that they can move it to filling stations without traveling long distances. That these things will help smooth transition from a subsidy regime to a no subsidy regime. And from the calls that we've been getting so far, this is something that Nigerians believe. It's a sentiment that is often shared far and wide. However, like I asked when we started the show today, will domestic production really reduce the cost of petrol? By how much? Without subsidy, the refineries will sell at market rate. Because it's domestic production, we're not going to have shipping costs in the price, but we're going to have transport costs for moving the product from Warri and Kaduna and Port Harcourt to the rest of the country. Same with Dangote Refinery in Lagos. And if government decides to reduce the price from state-owned refinery, then it's still subsidy with a new name. Government is still losing money, and the reason government wants to stop subsidy is because government is losing money at a time when government doesn't have money anymore. And then we did some math. Lagos, I don't know if you had tuned in by the time we were doing this math, but we did some math, right? At full capacity, the Port Harcourt refinery can process 210,000 barrels of oil per day. The Warri refinery can process 125,000 barrels a day. Kaduna can do 110,000 a day. Combined, that's 445,000 barrels a day. 1 barrel of crude oil can produce 40 to 70 liters of petrol, depending on the conditions and quality of the refining process. And like I said, let's even say 50. Let's be conservative and say 50 liters of petrol, right? 1 barrel of crude oil, right? You multiply 445,000 by 50, 22 million liters of petrol per day. Does that meet our domestic consumption? Because at the moment, what we're told is that the official petrol consumption of Nigeria is 60 million liters a day. So that's about 3 times the total capacity of 3 state-owned refineries if they operate at maximum capacity all year round. Let's assume that some of that domestic consumption is actually being taken to neighboring countries, like I said earlier on, because you hear all the time that our numbers are inflated, that a lot of those liters of petrol you hear that we consume in Nigeria isn't actually being consumed in Nigeria, is in fact being consumed by neighboring countries. Okay, so let's bring that number down to say 45 million, 50 million. It's still higher than what our refineries can meet. Dangote refinery is supposed to process 650,000 barrels a day. So that's about 32 million liters of petrol. But Dangote is not going to sell to just Nigeria. Most of that product will go straight to the abroad to collect dollars. So should refinery capacity be the condition? Should it really be the condition for lifting fuel subsidy? Should we be lifting fuel subsidy, Seth? Do you think we should be? I think we should be. I think it's a waste of money. I think that money can be going towards paying off ASU's wages so that they stop going on strike, revamping Nigeria's health sector. There's a lot that we can do with subsidy money. But what do you think? Should we be waiting for our refineries to come online before we remove subsidy? Or should we just remove it first? Because we simply cannot afford to wait until we get the refineries working at full capacity, knowing that we may not get there, and knowing that the refineries working at full capacity will still shall not meet our needs locally. Women call me on 01465-7190. Men call me on 0700-993-993. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name?
Fine. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. What's your name?
This is Joy.
Joy, talk to me.
Sandra, the way they always talk, say government is broke. I know they like that statement too.
Oh, okay.
I know they like him at all.
Okay.
Even God, they vex self. Where are the money? Even the one where they remove from kerosene, they remove from diesel. All those ones. What did they use it for? Make me ask you that question. What did they use those money for? Those subsidies they have removed from other products. What did they use it for? Now you are saying Nigeria broke where? Nigeria is not broke, oh, please. Those people that hold our money, let them bring it out from there where they store it. Let them bring it and use it. Let them not remove the subsidy. How did Dangote refinery come about? Please, there are something we should not be talking on radio. That is why Nigeria is just keeping quiet. We know how this thing come out. If our own cannot work, one man will just come and build refinery. How did he come about that this thing will begin to function now? Nigeria, let them ask questions about how that refinery begin to work. Please, we are not broke. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. We've got a message here. It's a big shame we're still talking about fuel issue this time when all the African countries are developing technology and solar for power while we're still dragging about fuel problem for ages. It's a big shame for us. And as for NLC, it's better they go on strike because we're still having problems to collect cash in other states. It's such a big problem. It's only Lagos that it's a bit fair. Dampi from Igondo with that message on WhatsApp. All right. We've got this one here from Greenish. Greenish says it's only Arab countries that are selling oil as low price, and it's because they have so much. Whether they remove it or not, oil price will not drop. Canada oil price is crazy despite having refineries. All right, thank you for your message. We've got Common Man from Norwich. Common Man's message is a bit long, so I will take a break, and when I come back from this break, I'll read this message from Common Man, and then we'll go to election petition and tribunal matters. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We just started with subsidy on today's Big Three. Let's come back and go to the courts.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The three past champions are in the quarterfinals.
We gave cryptocurrency 9 years to take off. It's barely been 2 years. So you mentioned that they no longer settle land disputes. Like seriously, you also stated academic rigor. Yes.
So are the giant killers who upset two of them.
Voting is more than just a choice. It is a civic duty.
A feedback mechanism that is based on inaccurate results cannot stand.
And the gladiator who almost beat the third.
We all know that Nigeria suffers unstable network connections.
The last two in the last 8 are yet to face a champion.
These charges are less than 15 naira or even just a little higher than 15 naira.
Well, those countries that operate diaspora voting is because they also operate dual tax system.
And while one of them will do it in the last 8,
how does 15 naira lead to high charges? Just 15 naira.
Musa and Ramadan, who have done it once, must do it again. It's the quarterfinals of the I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions. Monday.
My name is Olali Tolowala Shet.
My name is Sarita Kashik.
One winner. Wednesday.
My name is Fabian Chibdu. I'm Oladipo Ramadan Olali.
One winner. Wednesday.
My name is Ruth Okorocha.
I am Musa Nicola.
One winner. Thursday.
I'm Deborah Pamzad.
One winner, 2 million naira. Join me, Sandra Ezekwesili, your moderator, Mondays to Thursdays at 4 p.m. on 99.3 Nigeria Info for the Tournament of Champions. This tournament is brought to you by Paystack in association with Sunu Assurances. It's supported by RLG Communications, OBWeezy.com, Just Delight Non-Dairy Ice Cream, Stover Industries, and Wazobia Max TV.
I'm from Lafarge. I beg, sign for here.
What do you they look for there? I they look. What that means get delivery. You don't look inside the bags of Lafarge cement where you buy. Inside the bag? Yes, nah. Lafarge they rewarding better customers there for the Lafarge buy and win promo where they shell from the 10th of April to the 15th of May 2023. See, when you buy any Lafarge cement, if you find Lafarge scratch card inside, scratch them, load them, carry go. Now you get them. But if you find any other gift, just call the phone number where they the card. The gift where you find there, they go carry and go give you.
Now so, don't hear up. You fit to win microwave oven, water dispenser, fan, bag of rice, carton of noodles, recharge card, and other better things for the Lafarge buy and win promo. Check posters for more to you. Terms and conditions they shall.
Lafarge, building progress.
Aha, whether na cash or transfer, money na money. Once the other person don't collect transaction complete, case closed. Money na money. If cash not there to transfer, use ATM, USSD, POS, QR code. You fit use e-naira, money na money, case closed. Whether you dey buy yourself, money na money. Once the other person don't
they don't announce change of currency. Make we no panic, oh. Whether you want pay or you collect money, different options for grand, oh. In case cash no day available, you fit use mobile app, internet banking, ATM, POS, USSD, QR code, e-Naira, and others then take do your transaction. And if you no get bank account, visit your bank. Make them open them for you. Make you no panic, oh. Last, all of us go day alright. This message now from Bankers Committee.
This is what goodness tastes like. Golden caramel, creamy buttermint, and rich coffee. There's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
Introducing Cadbury Caramel Candy, Cadbury Coffee, and your favorite Cadbury Buttermint candies. Now there's lots more to share and enjoy.
Oh yeah, there's a Cadbury candy for every moment.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Both the APC and INEC have responded to cases at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, and that, Lagos, is our second story on today's Big Three. The APC has responded to the OBLP case, while INEC has responded to that case and the APP case. The APC says Peter Obi doesn't have the locus standi to file a petition because they say he's not a legitimate presidential candidate. According to them, Obi did not join the Labour Party early enough before the primary to be a legal candidate. They also say Obi did not resign from the PDP early enough. His resignation was on May 24th of last year. The APC also says that on April 30th last year, when LP submitted its member register to INEC, Obi was not yet a member. The APC also wants the case thrown out because Obi and LP did not add Atiku and PDP to it. The LP case mentions the number of votes that INEC announced for Atiku. And now the APC is saying that since that data was mentioned, LP should also have added Atiku to the suit. The APC also seems to be saying that Obi and LP should have listed all the polling units where they claim the election was rigged. INEC also responded. They say that they conducted the election freely and fairly and in accordance to the rules, contrary to what LP is alleging. INEC also responded to the APP's claim, the APP's case. They specifically responded to the APP's claim that they failed to do electronic collation. INEC said that nowhere in the Electoral Guidelines or Electoral Act is electronic collation required. However, this doesn't address the issue of electronic transmission, which both the LP and the PDP talk about in their own petitions. Both parties insist that INEC's own guidelines and the Electoral Act call for electronic transmission, specifically using BVAS and IREV. So far, I haven't seen the full responses from INEC or the APC, but once I do, we're going to be discussing them right here on Hard Facts. But let's talk about the technicalities. Lagos. Both the LP and PDP are calling for the disqualification of Tinubu because he shouldn't have been a candidate. And now the APC is doing the same thing for Obi. Now, of course, the PDP and LP have other prayers as well relating to the election itself. But what do you think about these attempts to disqualify each other? Call me on 0700-993-993-993. Women, call me on 01465-7190. APC says Obi no gets local standing to even file this petition because he isn't a legitimate presidential candidate. Obi did not join the Labour Party early enough before the primary to be a legal candidate. Obi didn't resign from the PDP early enough. His resignation was on May 24th of last year. April 30th of last year, when LP submitted its member register to INEC, Obi was not yet a member. These are the things that APC has said in their response to Obi and LP. 01465-7190, 0700-993-993-993. Hello, thanks for calling us. Sorry about that. Call back if you can. All right. I did promise that I was going to read Common Man from Norwich's message, but let me take a few calls and then I'll read that message. 99.3.
Hello.
How you doing? What's your name, sir?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What's your name, sir?
Okay. My name is Chinedu. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Chinedu. Talk to me.
All right. Okay, so my own contribution is that the attempt to disqualify the Labour Party candidate, I don't know how the lawyers will see it, but personally, I think that they are trying to initiate a new suit. From my understanding, the judges will be looking at the issues presented in the suit and not filing a fresh case. So that's my own understanding. But it will be interesting to see how these things play out. So we are watching and looking at how everything plays out.
All right. Thanks for calling, Chinedu 99.3. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
How you doing? What's your name, sir?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Chinedu from Bode.
Talk to me, Chinedu.
So, the case filed by the APC is funny. You know, I mean, it has no standing whatsoever.
Okay.
It has no standing because if P2B was not eligible, then INEC could have disqualified him from the start, from the get-go.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And then again, the Labour Party unanimously agreed to give him the ticket or the platform of which he contested. Right?
Okay.
Then you made mention of the fact that the INEC was alleging them about they should bring proof of I think of where there was illegality in the polling unit.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I think that would be the easiest case. I think that would be that challenge. If the INEC is challenging on based on that, I think that would be the best. In fact, I think INEC will shoot themselves from the foot because they are more than irrefutable to prove that there was. I mean, there were cases of mutilated result sheets. There were cases of even result sheets polling. They were not tally with what INEC uploaded on the IREV. And so if INEC is challenging based on that fact, I think then the LP should be celebrating in advance.
Sorry, it wasn't INEC that said that. It was APC that said that. APC said that they should bring proof.
If APC is throwing that as a challenge, then I think the Labour Party should even be thanking them for that.
Okay.
So we'll see how it
goes. All right. Thanks for calling. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. What's your name, ma'am?
Okay, this is Joy.
Joy, talk to me.
Sandra, see, I want to talk about the fuel subsidy.
Okay.
You're asking if it's enough for us having refiners, if it's enough for them to remove fuel subsidy. For now, right now, it's actually not enough.
Okay.
When it should have been enough was when it was even way cheaper. When fuel was actually selling for 87 naira. But now, Nigeria are multidimensionally poor. So the poverty rate has actually grew in a different dimension. So actually, the building refineries would not be enough again to cushion down the effect of removing the fuel subsidy.
Okay.
So right now, they need to fix the refineries.
Okay.
They need to also have government transport system whereby we don't need, for here in Lagos where I live, we don't need the yellow buses anymore for us to run with. Let it be that we are running with the one provided by the state government so that it will be cheaper for people. People don't need to actually go with their vehicles anymore. So at least you'll be using the one with the state, which will be more cheaper. And if they can't do buses, then let them be trained, around within the states so that Nigerians will be able to transport themselves at cheaper rates. These are the things wouldn't have been an issue. But right now, things are so expensive. Our naira value has depreciated. So fixing the refinery is not actually enough for us to say it's not going to affect Nigerians. As it were, kerosene was removed and diesel was removed. What has happened is still expensive. We still cannot even afford it. We still cannot afford gas. So many other things. Our electricity also is expensive for us to actually pay for the bills for electricity. electricity is also expensive. So businesses are also suffering that as well, and so many other things put together. So the refineries are not going to be enough.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. We've got Kehinde joining from Finland. Kehinde, talk to me.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so about the subsidy, I think during the campaign, each of those parties, LP, APC, they all said subsidy was a scam, and they were going to remove it. So I think, for me, I think at this point, we need to really discuss this subsidy. It should be removed. But then, what they should do is to be transparent and accountable about it. One of the things that I think Peter Obi said was that if we are going to remove subsidy, we must be able to explain what the money that we are subsidizing for is going to be used for in terms of development and infrastructural things. So for anybody, so whoever becomes the president must be able to give account and be transparent about whatever subsidiary money they are removing. That is if they remove it. Or except they want to, because we don't want a situation where they will tell us that we want to restructure and then they start telling us that we need to define restructure. We need to define subsidy again, like they did in the Buhari regime. So I think they really need to be very transparent and accountable about what they want to do with the subsidy, so that we know that we are removing it, we are getting this or that. And about the response of APC to LP, I think it's the lawyers will be able to explain better. But in terms of evidences to bring to the court about all these things, I think INEC has a lot to do about that in providing the details of what is in the IRF. I don't know whether they've done that, but I know that there were some restrictions at some point for a Labour Party to get that. And my major concern is about the Section 77. I don't know if any lawyer can explain about the party's statutory responsibilities. They said you must not later than 30 days. So, but what is of concern to me is that in that electoral act, Section 7, there is no penalty or no consequence for if the party refuses to follow that guideline. So maybe any lawyer can explain that for us, because there is no guideline, there's no consequence for it. So even if the law, that act is violated, we don't know anything that the law. What would the court judge on? Because there's no consequence there. That's my own concern. Maybe some lawyers will be able to explain.
Yeah, all right, Kehinde, thank you very much for calling. Let's take a look at this message on WhatsApp, and then we'll bring you our third story. Our third story stays in the courts. Common Man from Norwich says, when Nigeria reduces the price of fuel for Nigerians due to its local production, it's a form of subsidy based on our comparative advantage. This type of subsidy is beneficial, and the alternative foregone from doing so is by far lesser than just importing refined products from the international market. It is felt mostly in an increased standard of living. There are also other benefits derived from the byproducts of refining locally. Another multiplier effect of our local refinery are its impact on our employment rate. Having local refineries will produce a lot of jobs for people. I can state so many jobs it can create, but I have to keep this short. Common Man, thank you for your message. We've got this one here that says, in as much as local consumption will not meet our petroleum product demands, there's need for active crude oil refining in the country. The difference in pump price won't be much, but it will provide employment for thousands of petroleum, chemical engineers and other related fields produced yearly by our universities. Hence, this implies that more modular refineries should be established to meet up the demand of the country and for export. Also, the subsidy should be removed and the money used for the country's development. This will reduce selling the subsidized petrol to other countries. Justice, thank you very much for your message. Benga from Ota says, Sandra, your explanation is good enough for us to know that we are broke. Population is far more than what the government can take care of. What I will advise is more modular refineries and other means of power generation. All right, Benga, thank you for your message. Now, let me bring you back to Lagos, where Jandor wants the tribunal to disqualify both Sanwo-Olu and Rhodes Viver. That's our third story on today's Big Three. Lagos PDP has filed its case at the Election Petition Tribunal, and the party wants the tribunal to declare its candidate, Olajide Adediran, the governor-elect. They say that Governor Sanwo-Olu should be disqualified because they have evidence that he allegedly submitted fake wire credentials to INEC. As for GRV, PDP is accusing him of the same thing that the APC is accusing Peter Obi of. They say that he joined the Labour Party too late. They point out that he was in the PDP and was working towards getting the PDP's deputy governorship ticket. And by the time he ported to LP, they say that the deadline had lapsed. PDP is also accusing the LP of violating its rules for conducting a primary. They claim that the LP allowed EXCO members to vote in the primary as delegates. So based on that, they want the primary declared null and void, which would disqualify GRV. And if both Sanwo-Olu and GRV are disqualified, they want Jandor declared the winner, since he was declared to have come third behind the other two candidates. So that's for Lagos. What do you think about this legal argument and this legal strategy? 01465 7190 0700 993 993. We're going to come back to these stories at 5 o'clock, as well as talk about the situation of cash in Lagos and other parts of the country. But for right now, let's talk. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. Hello, thanks for calling us.
Hello, Sandra. How are you? Alex here.
Alex, talk to me.
Yeah, you see, we are not only, you asked the question if the removal of, if the fixing of the refinery is enough to take care of, our needs and probably reduce the cost. We are not bothered only about the cost of petrol. Your callers have talked about byproducts, yes, which will lead to the injection of more investments for industries to develop, right? Foreign direct investment, jobs, and all of those things. But let me leave that for a bit. I want us to look at natural gas. I do one or two things with natural gas. Okay, and then on many occasions we've advocated that Nigeria should begin to look at using natural gas much more effectively, even domestically. Have you ever boarded a plane and you wanted to know whose name is on that plane as the owner of the plane?
No.
It doesn't matter, right? As far as it takes you to where you're going. If you Google countries like Peru, Egypt, Trinidad and Tobago, I'm calling these countries because they are not those big ones that have totally left us behind. I'm talking of countries that are like we can relate to in terms of our march towards development. Okay, these people they've all transited. Well, maybe not completely, but they've attempted. They've made a lot of giant steps towards transiting to natural gas as an automotive fuel. Right. Open up the bidding process for gas station licenses. I'm not talking of the gas. I'm not talking of the gas plants. I'm talking of the gas station to establish gas stations. Yes.
Okay.
You can Google these things I'm saying. I'm not just talking out of.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Let these people. When I say open it up, I'm talking of opening it up even to foreigners. Let them bring in their own money, right?
Okay.
If they bring in their own money, look at it. A bank can finance you to buy a vehicle, right?
Okay.
For lease. Why wouldn't they finance you for the cost of converting it to drive on natural gas? We have natural gas in abundance. See, we've done. I don't need to go into all of that, but the fact is that Nigeria has enough for us to be able to transit smoothly. Natural gas is way more efficient than all of these other driving fuels.
Right.
For INEC, there is this Waze report that Agbakoba referred to. I haven't read it, I have to admit, but it recommends that INEC should not be a defendant when we have election. The reason for that, he made very clear, because he was one of them. They have to defend their inefficiency. All they just need to do is present the fact. Now, it's because INEC is a defendant today, that's why we are having things like they refuse to open the gates. They refuse to let us see the document. They don't throw away the key. Just all those kind of silly stuff. There shouldn't be a party to the defending. It shouldn't be a defending party. That's part of where we are. I wish they would go back and implement all of those things.
Okay.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Alex, for calling. Avatar Ang on Twitter says, what manner of technicality did APC file in its response? They were conspicuously silent on the issue of the drug forfeiture. This is a farce. Imafidon Joseph says, let's privatize our petroleum sector so that the problem of subsidy will end for the benefit of the common masses. Imafidon Joseph on Twitter with that message. Also from Twitter, President Buhari, who is the petroleum minister of this APC-led administration, has spent 10.9 trillion naira since this government came into power for the past 8 years. Can't this money build enough New refineries for us? God's power with that question there. We've got this message here from Ade in Surulere. Ade says Nigeria is not broke. This is embarrassing and shocking. Let's have a very thorough, independent forensic investigation on all budgets of accountability at all the governments from 1999 to the present date. We'll see if it's really true that we're definitely broke. Stop defending or covering up for the failures or mismanagement of all our governments, all based on massive corruption at all levels. It's annoying and insulting to say that Nigeria is broke when our government officials and politicians are living ridiculously large, acquiring questionable wealth, property with shocking luxurious lifestyles. The three major parties can come up with various prayers for disqualification of other candidates. Let's allow the tribunal and courts to decide everything. All right, Ade from Surulere, thank you for your message. Someone was waiting for Alex to put mouth on these matters. Well, she has. I hope you're happy. We've got this message here. Sandra, I beg, when is this election tribunal holding? Charles from Lekki with that question. Chris says, Sandra, bear in mind that Nigeria once exported petroleum products. Increased refining capacity with stable electricity, which reduces petroleum consumption through multiple generating sets, will definitely guarantee good pricing for petroleum products, and removal of subsidy at a point will not pose any problem. Other than the above conditions, removal of subsidy will amount to devaluation of Naira and increased hardship. All right, we've got this one here from Chooks in Lekki. Sandra, this is a very interesting time to be a Nigerian. Let's see how it all plays out. But if anything, I'm sure politicians will not take us for granted again. Let the fireworks begin. Okay, this message here is from you didn't leave your name, but you say, must our elections end up in the courts? This is shameful. Well, the courts are a legitimate part of democracy. They're a legitimate part of the process. Sky from Ikorodu says, Dangote is a new customer to Nigeria. So instead of paying Dangote, we can do crude swap. Okay. We've got this message here. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at it later on. Shegun Akerele from VI says, all these is unnecessary. Only one person will rule. Let's learn how to be good losers and wait for next 4 years. God save Nigeria. Shegun Akerele with that message on WhatsApp. Also on WhatsApp is Morris from Ribadu. Morris says, the issue from all the governorships are external cases that should be discussed within the party. I strongly advise all parties to allow the law to take its course. All right, Sandra, not that we're losing money per se, subsidizing fuel. It's the corruption that exists therein. People submitting bill of lading for oil that wasn't delivered, thereby ripping the system. There are loopholes in the system which can be checkmated and perpetrators severely dealt with. They should remove subsidy, but not now. There's so much hardship currently. Nigerians have consistently and constantly suffered enough within the last few months already. Ndifreke from Aja with that message there. Lisa from Aboju says, on a lighter note, POS and fuel attendants were the ones cashing out. After election, a lawyer's turn, caught wahala everywhere. Okay. Bode says, Sandra, is Jandor playing knee or what? Bode, I don't think he's playing. He's in court. Sean says, Sandra, why can't we locate all the illegal modular refineries and convert all these people that have been arrested to start producing for the country? For a fact that we can have people who can produce and extract the crude minerals locally shows that we have labor expertise that can also assist with crude oil production while we focus on repairing the main refineries, as this will go a long way for us. Hope you know in Festac we have started having queues little by little as the removal of subsidy has started to draw near. Now, wow, in Festac, interesting. Sean, thanks for your message. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back from this break, let me take you back to yesterday, to the match between Tamvita Kaushik and Tolualashe Olaloye. We were supposed to have a match today at 4 o'clock between Fabian Chibundu and Ramadan Oladipupo. Unfortunately, Fabian isn't available, and so we're going to have to postpone that match to 3 p.m. tomorrow. So 3 p.m. tomorrow, we're not going to have the big three. We'll instead have the match between Ramadan Ramadan and Fabian. Then at 4 o'clock, we'll have the match between Musa Nicholas Okoya and Ruth Okorocha. Tomorrow will be back to back to back. But today at 4, if you missed yesterday's debate between Tamvita and Olaloye Toluwalashe, I'll play it again for you today so that you can catch it. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. This is Nigeria Info 99.3. Don't go away.
More conversation, more talk.
I'm from Lafarge. I beg, sign for here.
What do you dey look for there? I dey look. What me self get delivery. You don't look inside the bags of Lafarge cement where you buy. Inside the bag? Yes, nah. Lafarge they rewarding better customers there for the Lafarge buy and win promo where they shell from the 10th of April to the 15th of May 2023. See, when you buy any Lafarge cement, if you find Lafarge scratch card inside, scratch am, load am, carry go. Now you get am. But if you find any other gifts, just call the phone number where they card. The gift where you find there, they go carry am go give you.
Now so, you don't hear am? You fit win microwave oven, water dispenser, fan, bag of rice, carton of noodles, recharge card, and other better things for the Lafarge buy and win promo. Check posters for more to you. Terms and conditions they shall.
Lafarge, building progress.